Hi, everybody. If you are, um, excuse me, if you are watching this, let me first make sure that I can hear that everything is going well, because sometimes I have that problem. Okay, let's see. Yep, perfect. Okay, so for those of you that are in the Cultivating Cadence program, this video is a little late and I apologize. For those of you that are just watching, because this is going to be available on my channel, this is actually a bonus module for one of my programs where I work with women in creating a good cadence in their lives. We focus on boundaries, mental health, things like that. So if you're just watching this, that's what this is about. And I want to talk about creativity and mental health today. It is, like I said, a bonus module in my program. And so that is what we're going to talk about today, creativity and mental health. It is kind of the crux of what I do. So if you don't know, hi, I'm Candace. I am a mental health coach for women in creative businesses, especially moms, but just in general, women in creative businesses. And so my program, Cultivating Cadence, is all about, oh man. Sorry, I'm trying to get everything situated. My program is all about helping those women with mental health. I run a membership. The program is inside of the membership right now. And so if you watch this video and you're curious, you'll have information about that too. But today we're talking creativity and mental health. So often the people that I work with have questions about building creative businesses while they're running families, while they're keeping their home up, while they're working another job. And when we have all of these things on our plate, it can be really hard to foster good mental health. So in this program in particular, I talk to people about taking care of the person themselves. Like I talk to them about boundaries, assertiveness, building confidence, things like that. And I realize I want to wrap it all up because most of my clients are actually writers of some kind, authors, bloggers, etc. So I want to wrap it up with some questions and some answers about the links between creativity and mental health and how we can use creativity to foster good mental health, and how, if we're not careful, a creative life can impact our mental health and what we can do about that. So that's what this video is going to be about. If you see me look off to the side, it's because that's where my notes are, because I like to work with notes. So let's see, can I adjust that a little bit? That's a little bit better. So especially when we're moms working in the creative industries, people can have a lot of questions regarding creativity, mental health, the complexity of the relationship between the two of these things, how we utilize creativity to foster good mental health, things like that. I was hoping the light from my window and this little lamp would be enough to light me up, but it's kind of making it, I don't know. I apologize. I film in the dark. I have a migraine disorder, so this is the best I can do. So one, a lot of people wonder, does mental health, mental illness, mental issues, does that enhance creativity? And the answer is sometimes. Things like depression, bipolar can have some sort of link to fueling our creativity. But also, we also have to realize that because there is such an impact to our lives, when there is mental health involved, mental illness involved, we can't rely on that for our creativity. If we want to build creative business, they may have positive impacts on certain aspects of creativity. However, we can tap into our creative power anytime, and we don't want to put ourselves in the path of relying on times of struggle. But also, we want to allow ourselves time to heal and grow and learn to be creative in every area of our lives. On the flip side, we also talk about, can creativity be a form of therapy? And the answer is absolutely. Now, I have training in art therapy. I have worked with music therapists. If you don't know, I was a licensed marriage and family therapist in Oklahoma before moving to Washington, where I'm working on getting my license transferred. It just hasn't happened yet. But I'm also a trained life coach, a trained stress management coach, and I have extensive training in art therapy as well as art therapy techniques for life coaches. So I clearly love the impact of creativity on therapy. I think research shows that there are so many ways that creativity impacts therapy. And creative activities can have positive mental health impacts or positive therapeutic outlets, right? So what this comes down to is that creativity leads to things that positively impact our mental health. So in the program, I talk about mindfulness. I talk about taking care of the self, and creative activities tend to lead us to mindfulness, focus. We can use them in meditation. It teaches us how to calm and center ourselves. It can be used as a coping mechanism. All of these have therapeutic values in different seasons. They're not going to be your therapeutic cure-all. They're not going to be the end-all be-all for everything. But what's going to happen is if we lean into those things that we creatively enjoy, music, art, writing, knitting, crafting, whatever it is, we're going to find different ways of it, like creating positivity in our lives. The therapeutic benefits of engaging in creative hobbies or businesses are things like expressing emotion, stress reduction and mindfulness, enhancing your mood, self exploration and self expression. Finding ourselves can be a really big positive impact on our mental health. When it comes to being a mom, we tend to lose ourselves, or a wife, or a woman in a very driven field, we can tend to lose ourselves in those things. And what happens is when we engage in these creative activities, they kind of bring us back to ourselves. They bring us back to be centered on who we are. And that can be really important. Creativity also leads to problem solving skills, which can really enhance our mental health journey. Problem solving skills can help us problem solving skills can really help us um, learn to navigate different aspects of the world a little more intuitively. And creative hobbies, jobs can also help us build resilience. Now, that's another thing that I talk a lot about in my program, is building resilience, because one of the best ways we can foster positive growth in our mental health is building resilience in our lives. Now, I love to talk about the cross section of grit and resilience and how that leads to hope. Now, the scientific definition of hope is not that we believe in something and it's going to happen. Hope says we believe life can get better and that we can play a role in that. That's what hope is. Hope is about the fact that we don't give up because we know we can make things better. Grit is just that tenacity of never giving up. We just try again. We try something new, we try something different, and then we get beyond that, we get resilience. And resilience is the ability to get back up after we've been knocked down. And so when we engage in these creative endeavors, that can kind of help us build that resilience, that can help us get back up when we've kind of been knocked over. When we engage in a wide range of creative aspects of creative things, we can enhance those positive benefits of creativity because maybe we get something completely different from listening to or engaging with music than we do from creating art or writing. Maybe I get something completely different from doing art in my art journal than I do from doing writing, whether it's writing for my business or just writing for me personally. When we engage in journaling, especially, we start to see these benefits play out. Because each person experiences the impacts of these differently, you have to get to know yourself, which is another benefit of creativity. It helps you get to know yourself. I will probably never do things like knitting or crocheting for a number of reasons. One, they seem super frustrating to me. If I'm not going to get it, um, it's probably going to frustrate me. Two, I have a chronic illness or several chronic illnesses, but pain is a big part of that. And so, doing things with my hands that are going to make my hands hurt isn't great. And I have to find new ways of doing the author thing for that same reason. I'm probably not going to engage in knitting, but I know there are people out there who find it so relaxing, who can process through things while they're knitting or crocheting, who love to bring the beauty of knitted and crocheted things into this world. And I love seeing them. I just don't want to do them. And so you have to get to know yourself to see what of this is going to work for you. Um, So, to piggyback off of that, can creativity be harnessed for mental health recovery? The answer is sure. How can we incorporate our creative pursuits into mental health treatment? That is what we want to look at. And that is not something you can decide on your own necessarily because you need to already have a mental health recovery plan to put that into place. But you can harness it because things like art, music, writing have been shown time and again. We have research after research to show how these things impact therapeutic processes. um, Journaling is a really big one. I will encourage my clients with every breath and fiber of my being to journal. Keep a gratitude journal things that are going on in your life. Like journaling is so important. Like journaling is important. Um, so I will always encourage it. But we've seen with dementia and Alzheimer's patients how great music is for their recovery. We've seen how art can help people who are needing to put pieces of themselves back together again. And again, this is going to vary from person to person, what's going to help you, what's not going to help you, things like that. Um, And so let's talk about how stress and mindfulness impact creativity and mental health. So, first, let's talk the negative, which is stress. Does stress impact creativity? Absolutely. How, though? How does it impact our creativity? Um, when we see stress, we can see it as either a motivator or a detractor. Now, sometimes we get stressed and we're like, I just need to do the thing. I need to create. I need to make something. I need to write something. And that's where it pushes us forward. Sometimes we see stress as a detractor. Like I am so stressed, I can't write, I can't think, I can't make music, I can't create what I like to create. So the reason why is because we need to take care of the human. When we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's difficult, not impossible, but difficult to create when your basic needs aren't met. Now, Maslow has proposed this hierarchy of needs. It's been around for a long time. Whether or not people agree exactly what goes where in the hierarchy doesn't matter because when we are under immense stress and when we don't have our basic needs met, it's really hard to create. Stress impacts our cognitive function, it impacts our arousal system, and that is because it is triggering our need for survival. Stress reduces the um, ability to be playful and creative, especially when we are have our central nervous system impacted or it impacts our ability to problem solve and think through solving problems when it takes away some of those thoughts that we can put to I have this creative, how do I make this look better, how do I solve this plot hole, how do I write this poem, whatever it is, right? um But stress also impacts our mental health because when we are under a lot of stress, it's hard to do the things that we need to do to have a positive impact on our mental health. So, things like remembering to take our medications, remembering our therapy appointments, remembering to take care of the human, all of those get affected when we're under stress. On the flip side of that, sometimes we do turn stress into creativity. And that can kind of help jumpstart our stress relief, which is great. Um, but let's talk about how mindfulness influences creativity and mental health. So, when we look at mindfulness practices, it's about being present in the moment. It's about focusing on what's in front of you and not everything else. And that can really have a good impact on your creative focus because you're focused on what I'm actually doing right now and not what my cat just ran by, sorry, and not like everything else that's stressing you out, right? Mindfulness is being fully present in the current moment. An example would be I was just taken out of the current moment because my cat ran behind me in my chair and then disappeared. So that took me out of the present moment. But mindfulness brings us back to the present moment and it keeps us focused on what's happening right now. The biggest way we can utilize the benefits of mindfulness practices is to connect it with our creativity. Um, and when we can also live in the moment and focus, that helps us bring attention to what is happening right now. Mindfulness can also help us be open to new experiences. When we're in the moment, we're like, okay, this is a new experience. I'm doing this thing. And new experiences can open up our creative like mind. It can kind of help us be more creative. When it comes to mental health, mindfulness helps us focus on the task at hand. It helps us take care of the human. It helps us do the things um, to that we need to do for ourselves. This helps build resilience and fortitude and also provides us with grit. Because when we're mindful, when we're present in the moment, we're like, okay, this thing didn't work out quite right, or this thing is going wrong in my life, or this thing isn't working how I wanted it to. But grit says, I'm going to try again. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to find a new way. And that comes from creativity and also from this mindfulness and resilience that we're in the moment. We know what happened and we're looking in the moment to pick ourselves up and keep going. Um, and so a lot of people, this last one, a lot of people want to know, are there specific creative activities that are more beneficial to mental health? Like, can we do something like, is it art? Is it music? Is it writing? And the answer is no. Everyone is different. It varies from person to person. One that we know time and again for a wide variety of people is journaling. Journaling has such a positive impact, it cannot be understated. However, things like art and music and other writing and journaling can have a variation from person to person. Knowing yourself is a huge step to knowing which creative endeavors are going to positively impact your mental health, as well as get you to the goals that you have when it comes to this creative journey. Maybe you don't want to start a creative business. Maybe you just want a creative hobby. Maybe you just want something that's going to help you feel better or process your emotions. So, getting to know yourself helps. Journaling helps us get to know ourselves. That's one of the reasons it can be so impactful. But again, all of this to say, I'm going to wrap up. All of this to say, your mental health and creativity are so intertwined, and we think about it often. But if you are a person in a creative industry and you're like, how do I not get burned out? Because you know, it's such a big part of my life. I do it so often, and I'm just drowning or I'm burning the candle on both ends. One of the things that I like to tell my clients is to go do something that inspires creativity that's not directly related to your creative output. And what I mean by that is if you are an author, go do something that inspires your stories that's not sitting down and writing. For me, that's going to the water. Going to the waterfront inspires my art journaling, it inspires my writing. Do something that inspires creativity that's not directly tied to your creative output. If you are a content creator, again, do something that's not directly creating content, but that gives you that inspiration. If you're a visual artist, the same thing. Go somewhere that inspires visual imagery in your head that you can put onto the canvas or that you can sketch, whatever it is, right? And don't push yourself to the point where you can't pull back. When we push ourselves too far, we get into this burnout and then we don't produce anything. And so we want to not push ourselves so far that we get outside of the bounds. We talk about burnout a lot in this program. I talk to my clients about burnout. I talk about it in the membership. It's such a big topic that I deal with clients, is how do I manage the burnout when I'm getting negative critical feedback, when I am doing too much and there's too much on my plate. And part of that is keeping this balance between your creativity and your mental health. If you are wondering what I mean when I say my program, if you are wondering like what program I'm talking about, I just don't like this lighting. I'm sorry. I should turn on my other one. I don't know. Anyway, we're almost done. So, if you're like, what program are you talking about? What do you mean? What program do you do? I run a membership for women in creative industries. And in this membership, I do live coachings and I do, we have a whole membership platform. You get access to the Cultivating Cadence program, which is all these videos pre-recorded, put in the membership portal. We have recordings of all the Q&As. And I offer discounted one-on-one coachings for women in creative industries. And that is what it is. It's about to go through an overhaul, which my members are going to get the first glimpse at. But that's what it is. And so, yeah. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.